All right, welcome everybody to episode number 30 of Can We Make Impact Wrestling the best wrestling promotion in Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. I'm out of class a little early today, so I thought I would get started with the stream a little early today. Kind of nice. It's a rarity when I get a chance to not have to deal with class until the wee hours of the evening, so this is a rare treat for me, and it's episode 30. So there must have been some sort of, I don't know, fair funness, right sizing of the world. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So, welcome to episode number 30. I want to thank everybody who likes and subscribes to any of the pages that we broadcast this show on, whether it's my personal Facebook page, my Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Kayfabe Controversies page, wherever you might be watching it on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments, the likes, excuse me. All of that fun stuff that comes along with it. And you guys, I don't get a lot of views on these, and I'm just a dude who, streams his stupid little video game and has a lot of fun with it, and so thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in and paying attention to it, and share it, like it, subscribe it. We try to keep the Total Extreme Wrestling, because it's a Windows-based game, I try to keep it as interesting as possible by talking about some of the historic gameplay that happens, or the historic events that have happened in TNA's history. We started talking about the monthly pay-per-views a little while ago. We are now up to September of 2006. I kind of got the idea to go back and talk about the pay-per-views, just to kind of give you an idea of the history of TNA, where they've been, and then once we get into some of the more modern pay-per-views, kind of where they're going, and talk about some of the matches that you may not have seen in TNA back in the day. This was, a time where TNA was not necessarily a joke, but TNA was a promotion that relied heavily on former WWE stars that, how do I put this politely, were no longer of use to the WWE, whether that was because they were, they were issues with attitude, they just didn't fit anymore, like a Raven, or they had issues with drugs and things like that, and they, weren't able to get clean, guys like Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, and then you had, a lot of these up-and-comers that had a lot of talent, and, WWE hadn't yet pried them away, like the Bobby Roodes and the AJ Styles, Jay Lethal, Frankie Kazarian and Chris Daniels, Lance Hoyt, Ron Killings, James Storm, guys like that. And then you had sort of this in-between, where they probably could have continued in WWE, like Cage, like a Kurt Angle, who was starting to get attitude problems, and that's why he left WWE. You had the Jeff Hardys of the world who had the drug issues, but, guys like Christian Cage, guys like Sting, guys, even he wasn't there yet, but like a Samoa Joe, who, probably still could have been notable players in WWE, just never didn't get that big-time main event opportunity that they could get in TNA. And, the talent was pretty good at the time, and it was kind of on the come-up. So that was pretty awesome. And then you had guys like Jeff Jarrett, who, all of his issues with WWE and the, the battles back and forth he had with Vince and the Vince Russo thing, and then, Jeff and Vince went and did the TNA thing with his dad Jerry, and So, I mean, we're getting into a lot of stuff we don't need to get into, and I've kind of rambled on probably more than I should have. Um, the No Surrender 2006, which is the pay per view we're going to talk about in this episode. Um, pretty solid pay per view. The usual suspects were involved, and honestly, this pay per view saw one of the best matches in TNA history. And I talked about it a little bit at the end of last episode, and I'll kind of save it for later on in this episode which particular match it was. But it was definitely the match of the year for TNA in 2006, and it quite possibly could have been or is one of TNA's top 5, maybe top 10, maybe top 5 matches of all time. So there you go. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But we are fresh off of our December pay-per-view. We are rolling towards our final Impact of 2019 in game here, 3 days away, as you can see. Looking at the history, we had a really, really strong pay-per-view. We kind of kept some of the matches we were a little concerned with out of the picture and pre-show and post-showed them, and they did not fare well, which is kind of exactly what we thought was going to happen. But we were experimenting with some things. The EC3 Brian Cage MJF match probably could have been a little better, but I wanted to see if calling the match in the ring would do anything, and unfortunately none of those three had the ability to call a match in the ring to that level. So we'll go back to the drawing board on that. Same with the Sami Callihan Bully Ray thing. It was a call it in the ring match, didn't go well. But the rest of the matches we had on the card, I was pretty confident about. The Rich Swann Kota Ibushi matchup was great. You had Eddie Edwards and Zack Sabre, which was really good. Shawn Spears and Joe Hendry was kind of a letdown. The Impact Knockouts title was a little bit of a letdown too, with Kairi Sane and Kaylee Ray. The first time those two had ever been in the ring together in Impact Wrestling. And Kairi apparently cannot be beat for this women's title. She's just going to run the distance with it. Then we had a string of pretty solid matches with TJP and Will Ospreay, Eli Drake and Jay Lethal, Johnny Impact and Dalton Castle. The Lucha Bros and OVE put on one hell of a show, as I expected them to. We had tested this in TV, and it was great. So this was kind of nice to have that going for us. And have that work out well. The Impact Grand Championship changed hands. Alex Shelley beat Jake Hager for that title. Marty Scurll retained the X Division Championship in another great match, and then Kofi retained the Impact World title over Ricochet to round out the televised portion, if you will, of the pay-per-view. So we did a 1.9 buy rate, which isn't terrible. It's the best buy rate we've ever had on a pay-per-view up to this point. So we are making the right moves, we're doing the right things, we are booking the right matches to improve what we've got going on here. Not quite a sellout at the Norfolk Scope, 13,268. So not a horrible deal, but not quite a sellout either. And as you can see from our popularity, in order to get to national size, we need to be a C+ in 8 regions. In America, we are at C ratings in 4, and then C- in another 5. I still don't know if they count Canada as part of the quote-unquote America. If that's the case, then we've got 6 of the 8 that are close to being C+. So we should be fairly close to national status here very, very soon. Our prestige is holding steady at B-. Our momentum has gone up because we've had such good matches lately, and we continue to have those good strings of matches. Joey Styles and JBL right now are still our our announced team, I guess is the best way to put it. Michael Cole will be on board here as soon as he joins the scene. And so yeah, Michael Cole, I believe he starts here pretty soon. I'm not exactly sure when his contract starts. It's got to be soon though, because we made that signing not too long ago. And let's see here. I don't know if this tells us anything. Nope. Okay, so that doesn't really tell us anything, but he should be starting soon. If I look in the diary, I don't know if that tells me anything either. Not yet. Okay. Alright, so one thing we discovered during the last pay-per-view is we have been holding on to a little bit of dead weight for a long while. And that dead weight is, excuse me, Marty Scurll's tag team partner. And that would be Brody King. Brody has not really performed at the level I had hoped he would. We have really almost abandoned using Brody and Marty together as a tag team since Marty's X Division run. The matches we put him in just don't work. He hasn't increased in his push. He's actually regressed significantly. I mean, he's all the way down to enhancement talent. You can't get any lower than that when it comes to a push. So I think in the best interest of the roster, even though it's only been just shy of 4 months, I think we're going to let him go. And I'll eat the money that it's going to cost us to do that. And you look around at the rest of the roster, Alicia Edwards, I don't want to fire her because then that will irk Eddie Edwards, who's a big player for us. He's a big-time main eventer. Alicia's only got just over a year left to go. Really, I mean, I could probably dump them both, and it's not going to really hurt me at all. But I like Eddie's work, and I could probably have him get over it with a bonus. Plus, Alicia would get paid anyway, and you know what? I'm just going to do it. I never use her for anything, so we'll get rid of her, and then we'll see if paying Eddie a bonus makes up for it. Nope, he's still angry. Alright, so you know what? He's got 9 months left on his deal. We're just going to let him go. I hate to do it. I love Eddie Edwards, but I'm not going to have him sit around and be pissy pants because I fired his wife. Bea Priestley, we're going to keep working with here. I almost kind of want to send her down to developmental, which I can't do because she's on a pay-per-appearance deal. So, I wonder if she would be open to a developmental deal for a year. We'll see if she jumps on that, help her develop, and that'll get her off our roster, but still keep her in the fold. Brian Cage has been slipping back. We haven't really used him much. He's on a pay-per-appearance deal. It's not going to cost us anything to let him go. Our roster's pretty solid now. We'll go ahead and let him go. Bully Ray, I'm paying him a lot of money. And he hasn't really put on that great of matches. So I think if we're being honest with ourselves, it's probably time to let him go. He's 48 years old, doesn't really fit into our long-term plans. We were using him to pass the torch. He really hasn't done that because he doesn't put anybody over. So, we're going to let him go. Talia Madison's probably going to be pissed. And she is. We'll see if a bonus works for her. If not, we'll let her go too. Nope, she's cool. Alright, so at least she was reasonable. Chase Owens, I kind of want to send him to developmental. Yeah, he's not real big on going to developmental. So Chase is an experiment that didn't really work out, and we're going to eat the rest of his contract and let him go. Christian Cage has done great as a road agent. Dalton Castle's been as expected. The Chris brothers, I'm going to start to push them a little bit. Dave Finley does not want to go to developmental. How much time does he have left on his deal? He's got a long time left on his deal. And we'll keep him around for a minute just to see what he can do. Eli Drake has been good. EC3 has been okay. Phoenix has been great. Flip has been pretty decent. Harry Smith has not been good. And it's going to cost me 21 grand to let him go. And it's going to cost me 19 grand to let Lance Hoyt go. Both of them have been absolute disappointments for me as a tag team. And there's no point in keeping them around anymore. So we're going to go ahead and just let them both go. Io Shirai has been good. Eve Elise has been good. Jake's been good. Jake Hager's been great. I can't fire myself. Jay Briscoe's been good. Jay Lethal's been good. Jay White's been good. Joe Coffey's been good. Joe Hendry just got here. So we'll keep working on that. Johnny Impact has been just phenomenal no matter what I do with him. Kyrie can't be beat. Kaylee Ray just came on. Kira Hogan. How much time does she have left? She's got plenty of time left on her deal. Young Lion. She puts on good matches, so I'm not going to send her to developmental. Kofi's the champ. Kota Ibushi has not really been at the level I want him to be at. He's still considered a lower mid-card, but I think I can manage to work him up like I've done with Jay White. Just putting him in better quality matches with better pushed talent. Lance Storm has been a great road agent. Mark Briscoe's been good. Mark Coffey's been good. Marty Skrull's been good. MJF, I don't know what to make of this kid yet. I feel like I stole him away, and he just hasn't quite lived up to what I had hoped he would be. So maybe it's a Kota Ibushi situation where I just need to put him in better situations. So we'll hang on to it for a minute. Pentagon is great. Rich has been great. Ricochet's great. Riley's a ref. Rosemary has been kind of quiet. She's a good talent though. Sammy's been pretty good for us. Scott D'Amore's a road agent. Sean Spears has been okay. Shayna Baszler's been good. Sue Young has been good. Talia Madison's been good. Tama Tonga and Tavita Fifita have not really been what I had hoped they could be in the tag team division. But after getting rid of, splitting up Villain Enterprises and getting rid of Brody King and then getting rid of the Killer Elite Squad, it leaves my tag team division kind of thin at the moment. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. So I'll keep them around for now. Tennille Taylor, Tessa Blanchard have been good. TJP's been great. TK O'Ryan has not quite been what I had hoped. He's the only one from the Kingdom left. I've already released Vinny Marsalia, and I've already released Matt Taven. And Vinny just doesn't have a place anymore. So we're going to go ahead and let him go. Or TK, I mean. Will Ospreay has been great. Zia Brookside, she is what she is. She's not really willing to go to developmental, though. And Zack Sabre, excuse me, has been really good for us. All right, so we'll tweak the pushes now that we've made some cuts to the roster. That puts us down to 47. We're still a little heavy on where we need to be, but we are a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and move forward. And we'll talk about No Surrender 06. First match was a dark match. It featured Bobby Roode and the debuting on Impact pay-per-view Joe Doring, who came from like the All Japan, Triple Crown, where else was he? WWC in Puerto Rico. He's been around a little bit. Bobby Roode picked up the win there. The next match on the card was a matchup between two former members of Team Canada, Eric Young and A1. This was the first match that was televised at the pay-per-view, and it was won by Eric Young over A1 in about 6 minutes. Okay. Not much going on in the news. And not much going on for us, so we'll move forward. Next match on the card featured another member of Team Canada, Petey Williams, taking on Jay Lethal in a singles match. Went about 7.5 minutes. Jay Lethal picked up the win. It was kind of a ho-hum night for the members of Team Canada, former members of Team Canada, I guess I should say. Bobby Roode, Eric Young, A1, and Petey Williams. Next up was a three-way dance, Raven, Brother Runt, and Abyss, with Abyss picking up the win. Abyss hit the Black Hole Slam on Raven. Next up was a triple chance tag team battle royal to become the number one contenders to the NWA Tag Team Championship. This is a weird ass match. So how it worked was you had 8 tag teams start. That would be Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, the Paparazzis, Alex Shelley and Johnny Devine, America's Most Wanted, Matt Bentley and Kazarian, Ron Killings and Lance Hoyt, Diamonds in the Rough, Shark Boy and Norman Smiley, and the Naturals, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens. So how it works, everybody starts in the ring, and it starts as a battle royal. Then when you got eliminated, you would stay at ringside, and essentially it was a lumberjack battle royal until your partner was eliminated, and then your team was out completely. When the match got down to 2 people, then their respective tag team partners would come back into the match, and then it would continue as a tag team match. So it came down to America's Most Wanted and the Naturals. So that meant Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens would be on one side in one corner, and then America's Most Wanted in the other. And then they would go, and it ended up with Chase Stevens pinning James Storm, and the Naturals with Shane Douglas at ringside would become the number one contenders to the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Next up was the X Division Championship, 17-ish minutes, and Chris Sabin and Senshi, who is, low-key, basically. Low-key has had the title for a few months now, and he would retain that title over Chris Sabin. So we're going to go back to the game here. See what's what here. Not much action going on. Not much happening here for us. We are in negotiations with Nick Jackson. If you missed the last episode, he became a free agent. And he's about to become a free agent. So we made a pretty generous offer to him in hopes that we can lure him away from AEW. And then when his brother's contract comes up, hopefully lure him away as well. So that's the game plan anyway. So we'll see. Alright, so we are one night away from our TV, and we'll continue to go down the list here. The next match on the card at No Surrender 2006, Rhino taking on Christian Cage. And just a straight-up singles match between these two. Cage would get the win in a 15-minute match. Cage hit the Unprettier and called it a day. I almost forgot to mention, in the X Division Championship match, I don't know if you want to call it funny or stupid or gimmicky or whatever, but there was an inflatable doll in the ring or something, and that's how Low-Key picked up the win. He pinned Chris Sabin when he kicked the doll into him, and then, so it was weird. Anyway, I digress. Next up on the card, this one was the match of the year and one of the best matches in TNA history. the Ultimate X match for the NWA World Tag Team Championships. This featured the champions coming into it, LAX, Hernandez, and Homicide, with Conan at ringside, taking on AJ Styles and Chris Daniels. So basically all you had to do, both title belts were hung above the ring, similar to a standard Ultimate X match. You only had to come down with one of them. So the winning team just came down with one of the titles. You didn't have to get them both, and you were declared the champs. 15.5-minute match. Beautiful match, told a great story. Like I said in the last episode, the storyline with LAX and AJ Styles and Chris Daniels, probably one of the best storylines in Impact's history. And this was one of the best matches that this storyline produced, and it was a great one. So if you get a chance, get Impact Plus and go check out this match from No Surrender 06. The final match on the card was a Fans Revenge Lumberjack match. Essentially, it was 18 audience members, quote unquote, served as lumberjacks, and all of them had leather straps. Samoa Joe and Jeff Jarrett would go head to head in this one. 11 minutes. Joe would hit the Muscle Buster towards the end and pick up the win. And Jeff Jarrett would put over Samoa Joe. So there it is. That's No Surrender 2006. Next pay-per-view would be the first pay-per-view since 2002 that was held outside of either Nashville or Orlando. It was the site of the first ever TNA house show, the site of one of my favorite hockey arenas in Michigan, and just a cool arena to check out a show, and that is the CompuWare Sports Arena in Plymouth, Michigan, not too far from where I live. I've seen a couple different minor league hockey games there. It is now home to the Team USA development team, if you will, their organization that develops USA hockey. So, pretty cool place to be. Pretty awesome that they had the whatever you want to call it, the first tour of TNA pay-per-view, the Bound for Glory 2006. No debuts to speak of, at least no first-time appearances. It would mark the Kevin Nash Open Invitational X Division Gauntlet Battle Royal. It's the longest and stupidest name ever. And I'm pretty sure Kevin Nash had some great promos during this time in TNA. Nash, I believe, brought out a bowling trophy to award to the winner of the Battle Royal. But we'll talk about that in the next installment of this show. We've got some interesting news here. WWE looks like they're losing money. That's kind of odd. They have huge financial muscle power at their disposal, 3 TV shows, and run pay-per-views. Second richest company overall. So, yeah, they're not going anywhere. I mean, I'll ask, but, yeah, they're not. Are you kidding me? That would have really kind of ruined this to make it only 30 episodes and win. But, yeah, there you go. Alright, Andrea looks like she's going to get an offer from Shine. JT Dunn looks like he's going to stick around with PWG. El Hijo Dos Caras looks like he's sticking around in IWRG. Damian Dunn, I believe he's related to Pete. Yeah, they're brothers. That's what I thought. If I could get Pete Dunn and Damian, that'd be kind of cool. Alright, so we have a decision, and it's Bea Priestley. And she's going to go ahead and head to developmental for us as we continue to wait on Nick Jackson. Okay, so now we have. We've got to find ourselves new matchups for the January pay-per-view. Our January pay-per-view, the one night only January, which is a stupid name for a pay-per-view. I really should go back and look up the names of the pay-per-views that they're running now. But they don't run them every month anymore, so it's kind of difficult to do that. But let's take a look here. See if they've got actual names. I should know this because we've been going down the list. It's just hard to remember them. Okay. So in the Impact era, they went from 2 in 2017 to 3 in 2018 to 5 in 2019. The last time they did a full slate of pay-per-views every single month, that was 2012. And Bobby Roode main evented 9 of the 12. Jeff Hardy was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. James Storm was in a couple. Austin Aries was in 3 of them. Sting did 2 of them. Bully Ray was in a couple of them. RVD was in one of them. Okay, but the January pay-per-view is Genesis. So we'll go ahead and change that. To Impact Genesis. February's pay-per-view was Against All Odds. March is Victory Road. And that goes by year. Impact Wrestling Redemption in April? No, that's Lockdown. And Lockdown doesn't have anything. May's pay-per-view was Sacrifice. Because I got 164 and a third % chance to win. I almost spelled it sacrifice there for a second. Then Slammiversary, which goes by numerals. The July pay-per-view is Destination X. And that goes by year. August is Hardcore Justice. I don't know if I like that name. I like the original name. The Hard Justice pay-per-view was okay. Maybe we'll just keep this one at one night only. Because they're both kind of stupid names, but what are you going to do? Alright, so that's done. September was No Surrender. Bound for Glory in October, which I believe now does numerals. And this would be the Bound for Glory 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the next one is 16. Time to test my Roman numeral skills. Oh, okay. Well, then you figure out the Roman numerals. Fine. I was trying to help you out. Alright, November is turning point. If I can type. There we go. And last but not least, December is final resolution, which is a great name for a December pay-per-view. I've always loved that name for a December pay-per-view. Alright, there we go. So now our pay-per-views actually have names. Not that that was a necessary thing to do, but, you know, I digress. Alright, here we go. We need to find matchups. We are at the Alfond Arena in the New England region. The Alfond Arena is in Orono, Maine. There you go. It is home to the University of Maine Black Bears ice hockey team. And it takes up 5,712 seating capacity. So there you go. It cost $1.6 million to build back in 1977. The Harold Alfond Sports Arena. Also, the Maine basketball team, which I didn't know existed, plays there as well. And built in 1977, expanded in 91, 98, and 2011. When converted to 2018 dollars, it would have cost $6.62 million. So, pretty good, pretty affordable, pretty reasonable. So, cool stuff. Alright, so, man, I have digressed just severely in this. Alright, so let's see here. We need an opponent for Kyrie to continue her winning ways. And let's see what Zia can do. I don't think these two have met one-on-one. They have not. This, if she can beat Zia Brookside, she will have beaten every member of the roster at least once. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Alright. Non-title match. Alright, next up, I have an inkling for what I want to do. I may have Alex Shelley cash in against Kofi. But I want to see how they do in a non-title match first. So neither title on the line. Alright. Now, Marty needs an opponent. I wonder how Bobby Fish would fare against Marty Skrull. We'll give that one a go. Come on. Non-title. Okay, and last but not least, we need somebody for the Lucha Bros to fight in a tag team match. Let's give the Gorillas a go here and see how they fare. Alright, so we'll see if any of these work for what we're looking to do. Now we can backfill. I also want to work with Kota Ibushi. And I want him to start having some big time matches with some of the more meaningful talent on the roster. My hope is that that will build up his push a little bit. Same with MJF, and to that extent Joe Hendry. I'm gonna do MJF and EC3. I don't think I've done that one yet. Yeah. Not one-on-one. So we'll see how they do if it's open without anybody needing to call it in the ring. Alright, next. Have that same problem with Joe Hendry. And really to a lesser extent, Jay Lethal and Jay White, too. And Ricochet, who somehow ended up in the mid-card after we did the pushes. So I'm going to have Joe Hendry and Sami Callihan go at it here. Come on. Alright, we've got 35 minutes left, so I've got time for 3 more matches. Which means I'm going to have to start piling guys together here. Alright, so let's do Ricochet, Johnny Impact, Flip Gordon. Hate it when I do that. And then I do it twice. Because I'm just a clicking fool. There we go. Okay, and let's see. Who else? I want Jay White, Eli Drake, and Jake Hager. See what these guys can do. Alright, 10 minutes left. I don't know how many of the main event upper mid-card guys I have left, so 2. Okay, Rich Swann, Will Ospreay. But I would like to get Jay Lethal in a match, so we'll do one last triple threat. Because why not? Alright, Will Ospreay, Jay Lethal, Rich Swann. Come on down. Alright, so that fills up our card. 10 matches. Yo, VIP, let's kick it. Here we go. Alright, pretty solid match there between those three. Looks pretty good. Sammy and Joe Hendry, not so much. Pretty good out of TJP and Kota Ibushi. That's one we can keep on the radar for the pay-per-view. Same with Flip, Johnny, and Ricochet. Need to write that down so I don't forget it. Oof. Not good between EC3 and MJF. Kairi Sane and Zia Brookside was not that great. Lucha Bros and the Gorillas were good. Jake, Eli, and Jay White were okay. Marty Scurll and Bobby Fish. I'm so glad that we were able to get Bobby Fish a decent match. And Alex Shelley versus Kofi Kingston. That looks like it's going to be our winner. So we'll have another Impact Grand Championship tournament coming in January. Tama Tonga slightly overused, so the match went a little bit too long. Increased show popularity in 21 regions. That's what we're looking to do. Alright, so let's check our ratings. And we'll get it rocking. We also need to go back and figure out who was the road agent for those matches, so that we can make sure that we have just about everything the same when it comes time for the pay-per-view. Okay. Unread emails waiting. That would be our ratings report. So, Banks close in on Ice Ribbon. That is a women's promotion from Japan. Is there anybody on the roster that I would be interested in? Cherry, maybe? Yuri is okay. Tsukaka Fujimoto, Aokizuki. Oh, okay. Who are the main event players in this? Milano Collection. Haha. They have a lot of announcers for such a big promotion. Or a tiny promotion, I should say. I gotta think Cherry's a main eventer. Wow, lower mid-card. Okay. Tsukasha Fujimoto. Misaki Ohara. Dating Kushida. Okay. She also plays Yapper Man number 3 in MPW. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to buy him. $43,000 in debt. Okay. And I'm going to take... I don't want Dick Togo. I don't want Milano collection. I'm going to take everything else, though. "19 o'clock Girls Wrestling." That's a great name for a TV show. I love it. Alright. We got him. Okay. Impact was great. Volador Jr. staying in CMLL. Colt Cabana looks like he's going to re-sign with AIW. Okay. MJF. Where. Kota Ibushi needs time off. Rich Swann needs time off. Ratings were up on Fight Network, up on, level on Spike, and slightly down on Pop. But we're still over a 2 on Pop, which is good. So we'll keep it right there. Alright, let's figure out what we're going to do with these people. Ao Kazuki, did she have... Makoto. Alright. Sakushi... Oh yeah, so we'll keep Sakushi around. Hamuko Hoshi. Doesn't really fit, so we'll get rid of that. Tsukasa Fujimoto I kind of want to keep. Hajime Sato I want to keep. Makoto will keep. Fujita will keep. Miyagi will keep. Nakajima. Cherry. You know what? I think we're just going to sit on a lot of these for right now. Bomber Saito. You can never have enough referees. And I don't know why I kept Shinpei Nogami. So, bye-bye. Alright, so we'll hang on to these ladies and our referee for now. See what they've got. We got time to experiment. Hopefully they can give Kairi Hojo somebody to work with. We'll see, though. Alright, so that's going to do it. Episode 31 coming up tomorrow. Bound for Glory 2006 we'll talk about. And we will head to our next Impact TV. Hopefully we can sign one Nick Jackson by then. But until that time, my name is the Mayor Jason Smith. Thanks for watching.